We are recording.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zachary Nolan. Welcome back, everybody. I'm here with my co-hosts. First off, my brother, Carter Nolan.
Hello.
Say hello. Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
I said hello.
As always, Jake from Peg City
Hello.
Hockey. And Jackson from JetsHub.
Hello, what's going on?
So, pretty much, we are recording this for historical reference. The opening night roster was posted yesterday, or actually earlier today. We're recording it late at night. Final cuts are done with. Waiver claims are done with, seemingly, for the Winnipeg Jets. I'll start it off with Jake here. How are we feeling?
Okay, you know what? Surprised by this a little bit because I did not expect to see the Winnipeg Jets drop Jansen Harkins just to go out and claim a guy in waivers and replace him that fast. I thought that was ruthless, and I loved every second of it. But yeah, I don't even know how to say his name. I'm just gonna call him Axel Johnson because God knows I will not be able to pronounce that last part of his name. But nonetheless, though, I actually really like everything I've heard about him. Like, apparently he's a good penalty killer, and, you know, he might be an okay fit in the bottom of six. You know, it's a fourth liner. You see how if he sticks or not, you know, when you get rid of him. So I think it's a good pickup for them. You know, he can't be worse than Harkins. You know, if he is, then waive him and get Harkins back up. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, obviously the big thing, defensively. And we're going to get into this on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. Ville Heinola does not make the team to start the season. Now, a lot of you people say they saw it coming. I kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, I didn't because of how good of a preseason he had. And all the hype that was going into it with it, he met it, in my opinion. The coaching staff seemed to really trust him, and a lot of reasons why this happened, and we'll get into it. But yeah, other than that, I like this roster because it was kind of what I predicted. So I like when I'm right.
Yeah, it's pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to happen too. I didn't think that 64 would be pushing for that 60 spot, but here we are. But everything else pretty much went according to plan. I like I'm going to call him AJ. Oh, what is it? AJF. Yeah.
AJF, there we go.
Call him that because I'm not going to be able to say the name either. But yeah, it sounds like a Brandon Tanev light. So
Yeah.
If he's able to come in there and look kind of nice, if Manalainen doesn't continue to do what he did in preseason, we'll see. But I don't know. I like the pickup, and hopefully the bottom six gets figured out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the pickup seems good. Like, apparently, like, from all the Caps fans that I've talked to, he plays a lot like Carl Hagelin is what I'm hearing. That's the comparison. 34 points in, like, 43 games in the AHL. Definitely not bad at all. And a lot of guys, seemingly, a lot of fans, well, the ratio of fans that I've seen from the Washington Capitals seem to be upset about this. Like, they had two waiver claims take their, like, two guys taken from waiver claims that day, and AJF was definitely the more popular one of the two. Like, it's definitely good to see because I think it's always reassuring when you can see, like, discount players, like, give discount players a chance because it's pretty much the only way we're going to be successful. And especially, like, on such a competitive bottom six, because this was a very, like, I would say, compared to, like, the last two seasons, this was the first year that had been in a while that the bottom six was really opened up for opportunity for a lot of players.
Yeah.
Like, if we're looking at this year, we're going to see about, I would argue, 4 new players on the bottom six with Barron, Manalainen, Gagne, and Gustafsson as regular full-timers. It's definitely something new and a new angle.
Can't forget Sam Gagne too. You know, he might be older, but still.
I thought I said Gagne.
You might have. I don't know. I probably did. Ignore me. Forget about it.
But yes,
forget about it. Don't worry about it.
It's definitely gonna add something new. I think this year that will be hopefully the reason why we were missing some things last year. I'd say.
For sure, definitely one of the reasons I would think. You know, it's not going to make us a cup winner, but again, addressing the small things that went wrong last year is a huge contributing factor in running it back successfully to an extent. You know what I mean? Like with a team with no changes. So,
Oh, for sure.
You know what? I think it's the hot topic. I want to talk about it now. I know you guys do. I'm gonna throw this over to Jackson because, man, I feel like me and you are on the same page about this. Ville Heinola, man, like it's crap, but at the same time, there's so much reason. There's so many reasons why this happened, and none of it is Ville Heinola's fault. And it's kind of hilarious because last season he ended the year posting that meme of him with his face photoshopped on Barry Sanders sitting like that, and it just that sends a message, and it's like, okay, this guy wants to play, he's hungry, and he comes in and he earns a spot, and he's just back where he starts, and it's nobody's fault but management, in my opinion. What it really comes down to is because Chevy didn't trade anybody. Chevy didn't make room. It wasn't about improving this team. It was about making room on this team and growing this team. And he didn't do anything. And that is a huge factor on why the Jets are at this spot right now, and why they have to send down Ville Heinola, and why they can't move with this young defensive core and still hold themselves back. And it goes with Logan Stanley as well being out there. What do you do with him? Do you keep him? Do you trade him? They don't know yet. And that's impeding the development of all the other younger prospects we have that we could be getting opportunities. And I know that some of you guys aren't as high on Jonathan Kovacevic as I was, but I thought he could have been a contributing defenseman, maybe this season or next year. Not full-time, but still getting opportunity. And that's a guy we just lost. Again, because of the fact that we don't have room for these young guys. So we need to be able to figure out a way to move Dylan or move Schmidt or move Pionk, move whoever it is that's going to get moved to create room. Exactly, Carter. There's no drive right now, it feels like, within management to go out and make these trades. It just feels like they're really, really comfortable on standing back. And I don't think that's the right choice right now. I think go with the youth. What else do you have to lose?
Exactly. One thing I want to talk about with the whole Heinola situation is, like, okay, so about a week ago, Bonus was talking about, like, if we need a penalty killer, a penalty killer is going to win the sixth spot. If we need a power play guy, a power play guy is going to play the sixth spot. So at that point, you kind of saw that, okay, well, we've got Neil Pionk, Josh Morrissey, and Nate Schmidt, and they're all playing on the power play, and none of them are getting waived, obviously. So writing was kind of on the wall there. I kind of somewhat expected it at that point. But the thing that bothers me is that assuming Stanley does play opening night, because he has been playing in practice with Nate Schmidt and Sandbergs with Capobianco. I'll get into that later, but which is so weird. But if you need a penalty killer and your reason for keeping Stanley is because he's a penalty killer, I mean, he can play on the penalty kill, but he wasn't killing penalties last year.
Exactly.
I know. And there's just such I don't know. There's just such a misconception. Everybody thinks he's this, like, big physical guy, this big defensive guy, and I'd argue he's more like Tyler Myers. He's more of a, like, nowhere near as good as Tyler Myers, but more of a offensive guy.
Sometimes he can be a gentle giant. I'm not gonna lie.
He really is out there. He doesn't do anything with his weight.
He's not even a gentle giant. He's a lackadaisical giant. I watched a game against the Rangers. He hit the puck in the corner. Artemi Panarin came in and stripped it from
I know. Oh my God,
2 seconds.
at that game.
2 seconds.
That's supposed to be a big
I'm like, why?
Where's the size matchup that they keep talking about that you need with guys like this? You don't see it there. Doesn't make it.
Well, you're going to hear about it. So, sorry, I'm just last point here.
Yes.
So if your problem is that with Ville is that he's not responsible enough defensively, then why does Stanley get the pass automatically? We've seen it doesn't work. If they put in Sandberg, I can live with it because the guy, he's done his dues in the AHL. He's a guy that has to play too, and it's unfortunate that the Jets have to pick between these two. They should both be in the lineup, in my opinion. I don't know why Brennan Dillon's still here, but that's where I'm at with it, and it's unfortunate.
It really is. Zach, what you were saying?
Well, I was gonna say I hate this notion that, like, Ville isn't a penalty killer, or it's like you need to have certain guys penalty killers. The reality is, like, push comes to shove, 9 out of 10 defensemen can be a penalty killer. That 10th guy has that 10th guy is, it's not that he's not a penalty killer, it's just that his skills shine better in the offensive zone. It doesn't mean that Ville can't play in the penalty kill. Like,
give him
that's
opportunity.
Such a common misconception. You look at Ville and you think you have to be a puck moving defenseman. And then you look at Stanley and think you have to be a defensive defenseman or a penalty killer. And why do they say that? Because there's nothing that shows an exterior ability to play offensive.
Exactly. Like,
so they just need to go back to something and say, well, if you're not good here, you have to be here. He isn't.
Isn't this crazy?
He's not.
I love this because I've been having this argument with my viewers for a long time now, guys that didn't think that Heinola was ready, and I've been saying all this stuff for basically about 2 years now, ever since his rookie debut, about giving him more opportunity, and it's just so refreshing because now he has shown everybody that he can play in the NHL. Hell, even Rick Bowness himself earlier today came out and said that he told Ville and he knows he is an NHL player. And yet, they're still saying these same ridiculous statements and reasons for defending the decisions that are made here, and it baffles me. When are you guys going to realize that, unfortunately, in the modern-day NHL, you don't always need a big man? I'm sorry, but hitting isn't a part of the game as much as it used to be. It's still there, but Stanley is not some big goon out there. He's not the next Zdeno Chara. You've been listening to way too much Sportsnet if you think he's the next Zdeno Chara. I swear to God, anytime a guy steps out there that's 7 foot or whatever he is, they think he's the next Zdeno Chara, and it's ridiculous. It's like when Bull made his debut in the NBA, and everyone went crazy. Just because he's a giant guy, everyone thought he was going to be the next Manute Bull, his father, all this. But no, he didn't. Where is he? The G League, my point exactly. Size doesn't mean shit nowadays in sports. It's about skill. And unfortunately, this team does not like to recognize that. And I feel like Bowness wants to. But he is handicapped by management by refusing to make real changes to the room, to the actual roster and growing the team within, because that's what this team comes down to, is draft and development. I'm going to say that a lot on this podcast because it really has felt like this organization has forgotten it in the last few years. Drafting and development is how Winnipeg will be able to only stay competitive. You're not going to get the big marquee free agents ever, and that's okay because you have a good drafting development system. Use it.
And if you guys want, I do have Heinola's elite prospects page here, just some of his stats if you guys want to hear a bit about it. So with
trust me, my friend, I do know. I know him off by heart.
We read it extensively.
I've done too many videos on Ville.
Last year in the playoffs, you know, 5 points in 5 games, put up 26 on 41. This past year, he was a +7 overall. Good
Can't kill penalties.
Good defensively. You know. Everything he's earned his spot. He's earned his spot.
Who on the Jets?
Make room for him.
Who on the Jets is killing penalties? Like who? If you were to build a team on this team, who aside from Dylan DeMello and like probably Brendan Dillon because he's a bigger guy, right? And then the same thing with Stanley there. But Dillon is decent defensively. Just he needs the right partner. But anyway. Besides that, are you gonna really sit here and tell me that Neil Pionk is a better penalty killer than Ville? Maybe a little bit, but does
that's
it
only
move,
because he's
does
been
it
given
move the needle
opportunity
that much?
Yeah,
Exactly.
It's not. I would say that it's not high enough that you could quantify it. Like, there's no. It's not. It's not as much a difference that you can validate him being used over him.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's what we're saying, man. You're right. We're all agreeing here. And that's the. It all comes back to the same thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. And it comes back to what you were saying. There's just no room, unfortunately, because we've had a very surprisingly quiet offseason. I thought it was going to be a lot more dramatic, but it did not.
You know what? At least Wheeler did get his C stripped off, and that's pretty dramatic. I'll give him that. I didn't even think that was going to happen. I thought he'd be traded.
I believe they did that.
I actually called that when I was
I preached for it, but I didn't think they'd ever do it. I could never actually call it. I just wanted them to.
They had the guts.
Okay, well, I tip my hat to you, my friend.
So what are our thoughts on Kyle Capobianco officially becoming a Winnipeg Jet?
I know AZ Sports guy's smiling right now. If you're listening, buddy, you know, this guy has been telling me everything about Kyle Capobianco, and I'm not going to lie. I didn't see a lot from him in preseason. That made me a big fan. All right, I'm being real. But seems like a nice guy, so I'll give him a shot. And I think he's way better than Logan Stanley, and he's not a bad extra defenseman. I'd rather have him there than Logan Stanley. Honestly,
yeah,
I wish it was. I wish somehow you could have Ville in with Sandberg, get rid of Stanley, and then your extra defenseman's Kyle Capobianco. That's not a bad way to run it.
I feel like Capobianco's getting a little more hate, like a little too much hate on making the roster. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm a little annoyed just seeing him there is really weird. Like, if you walked past the sign with a bunch of names and you saw Kyle Capobianco's name on the bottom, you'd be like, is this a cameo? Why are you in this movie? Like, this doesn't feel right. But
again, it comes back to
he's not
roles,
the reason
though, right?
Heinola got cut.
Exactly, it comes back to
trying
roles.
for the left side. Capobianco's playing on the right side. Actually, if anything, if people want to get mad at Capobianco, get mad that Kovacevic is a Montreal Canadian.
If you want to, okay, honestly, if you want to get mad about Kyle Capobianco being on the team and not Ville, get mad at the press box. That's who you should be mad at. That's the only reason Kyle Capobianco's on the team. He only reason, because if anyone goes down, he's not even the first call up at Sandberg.
Yeah.
So
although
he's just a press box guy. And even though we don't want Sandberg there, I'm just saying, that's all it is, and that's why I'm okay with it, because at the end of the day, what would you guys rather have? Ville just being an absolute beast in the AHL, or him just riding the pine for another couple months so we've made him do enough, right?
Yeah.
That's what the hard pill I'd swallow was with this one. I wasn't that upset about it. I was just more disappointed. It was like, it happened. Okay, well, I guess we have to wait now. Before, in the past, every other time, it was like frustration, because it's like, damn, why every time? But now it's just everything harkened back up in the past coming up, about lack of trades, quiet offseason. Now this is the result of what we get from that.
Mm-hmm. And Chevy's a guy that's advocated for Ville too, and that's why I thought it was kind of surprising. Like, when the Rick Bowness hire was done, I remember one of the first articles was can't remember who it was by. It definitely wasn't by Billick, but I think it might have been from Kenneweeb, and he was just talking about and just comparing Ville's game to Miro Iskinen's and everything, and how Ville might finally get his shot in there, right? Didn't end up happening, but back to the Capobianco thing, I think it's I don't know. This was what I was going to ask you guys at the beginning. How do you guys feel about Capobianco on the team? But I do think he's better than Stanley. He's not Stanley. A bad player.
He plays on the power play.
But if he's not a bad player, but why did we sign him? If you had
that's
Johnny
the question.
Kovacevic lined up for 3 years, that's a 3-year contract that Montreal picked up. Why would you go out and sign him if your intention is to keep him and then just discard that? Like, did you think he was going to clear? Like, I don't know.
I think they genuinely thought it was okay. I don't remember. Hold on. I just wanted to say I don't remember who I saw originally that was talking about this, but originally I think the rumor is the Jets thought the 3-year contract wouldn't be appealing to teams to take on a waiver, so that's why they waived him.
Why wouldn't that be appealing?
I don't know. I guess
$800K.
I guess they thought that maybe it's like, he's so replaceable that no one would bother to take on the guy. Like, it's nothing. Like, it's just like you could sign him if you wanted to anyway. You know what I mean, type thing. Because there were so many guys like that. But I agree with it. I'm not defending it. I think that was kind of the reasoning behind it. I think it's stupid, but that's what the initial reactions I saw on Twitter. I want to find his Kyle Capobianco's advanced stats. Actually, they're actually quite interesting.
Didn't you? No, okay. Actually, are they interesting? Because didn't you send me his advanced stats when we signed him, and it was a flat
they're interesting.
0.
That's why they're interesting.
I was gonna say it was legitimately a flat 0, and I just stared. I think he said.
I'd have to take.
I stared at the page for 3 days.
I can't share the screen, or it'll screw up the whole format of everything. Because I would, but I'll just say this, ladies and gentlemen: his WAR percentage.
It went up.
No.
1.
It went up!
Oh, that's 1 higher than Logan Stanley's.
Exactly. So he's better than Logan Stanley, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
Also, I wanted to touch on this, because I don't know if we really touched on this in the span, because it's been a week. Better preseason than we were expecting, guys?
Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? That was one of the most entertaining... That was one of the most entertaining preseasons of hockey the Jets have ever played. That was so good. It felt like the season started, and I hate that none of those games counted, because they were so entertaining. Yeah. I think. Okay, I'm also gonna say credit to the organization for getting the ball rolling on the season with the Howard Chuck unveiling during preseason. That really hyped up, I feel like, the city and the fan base.
I had my doubts.
It felt way. Well. I did too, but it did, and the whole city is now behind the Jets right now, and I think that's good.
Also, back-to-back wins against pretty much the almost complete Calgary Flames. That's huge. Like people will discount that for preseason, but that team. Their top 6 was there. Their starting goalie played, and the Jets put up 5 goals on both nights.
Oh, exactly.
Like, that's huge. And if they can beat the Rangers, now I could be wrong here, but I do not believe since trading Jacob Trouba that the Jets have won a single game against the New York Rangers. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they're
I have no
0-4 since then, with 1 year not playing them at all.
You know what? He's the captain now, so it would be amazing.
That could be
if we
a
finally beat him.
monumental
Comes
shift.
back to Winnipeg, and we just crush him into the boards on his first shift or something like that.
If the Jets
Get Stanley in for that
Rangers,
game and be like, look, if you want to ever make this team full time, you need to destroy Jacob Trouba right now.
Do you want
That is your
you want
quest.
the C,
Shit out
sir?
of Stanley.
You want a letter?
I want you to take that C and rip it off. That's gonna be Wheeler. He's like, take his C and give it to me. I'm taking back the reins for this game.
This back.
I ain't gonna let any of my former children
Oh.
be the boss of me in this one. Fuck.
Honestly, if the Jets beat the Rangers, just pencil the Jets in for the playoff spot right
All right,
now.
all right.
Honestly,
You heard it here first.
if the Jets
relax,
beat the Rangers,
relax,
Jets make the playoffs.
relax.
No, this
Yeah.
is a far-seeing prediction.
Oh, I doubt it. I'm not gonna say anything about playoffs. I
We'll
want
come
it.
back
I
to
want
this
it.
in April.
The playoffs are something that I want right now, but I really don't know if it's gonna happen, and that's okay. I got no expectations this year. If it happened, that'd be great.
Well, I think people are too high on certain teams of the Central. Like, I do not know why Nashville has got. Like, Nashville's like I think
I
ours
sent
is like
this-
29%,
yeah.
and you texted me and you're like, Nashville's like 70.
Nashville was at 70 today. A 70% chance of making the playoffs, and I get it's because like half the Central is supposed to suck, but I don't like Nashville.
That's
Really?
stupid. I don't get
Like,
that one.
I think there's some better
don't get
teams in the West. Like, if you're talking playoff spot, like if you're saying Nashville finishes 4th in the Central, I think there's a lot of other better teams in the West that make a push this year.
I did see Jay Fresh's original. I mean, his playoff
He's got us
percentages.
in the pot.
He has us at 3rd in the Central, actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know
about
if that
one.
happens, but you know what? If the analytics are on our side for once, that'd be amazing.
If the Jets get off to a good start, I can definitely
Which is
see
possible.
it happening. Because like these, and not only is it possible, but if they get off to a good start, this is a huge test because their first matchups are pretty. Like they got, for example, like they got the Rangers on Friday, and then next Friday they have the Leafs, and then they got a couple games in there. I think they have Dallas in there sometime. Like
Oh,
there's
good.
a
I
bunch
have
of
to
games that are going to be
Leafs on Twitter.
tests.
Well, yeah.
Oh my
like,
god.
dude,
If we
dude,
can-
listen to the that's an insane task until you get to the. I guess the Kings and the Blues are the first real games where like we might be evenly matched in those, but it's gonna be uphill battles on all those games.
Well,
Watch
if-
out for the Kings.
If
Yeah,
we
no,
cannot
they have
lose,
a.
go. You're up.
Sorry, yeah, no, they have a task and a half coming up here. The first like almost month of the season, they're
You know
going to
what?
be, they're gonna have to figure it out.
Light bulb, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
be hard.
This could be a blessing in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
If the Jets come out and they suck to start and they're playing against these cup contending teams, we're going to see all these trades happen. It'll be like it'll be a fire sale because they'll be saving their jobs at this point. They'll have no choice. At that point, ownership will have to take the reins because it's like, what are you doing? Like you were tanking. So
Now,
this could be good. If we
Then we'll
lose
get
like the
Connor
first
Bedard
5.
next year,
Wait,
and look at that.
here's the flip side of that. So,
Connor Bedard to play on the Moose. Knowing our
sir.
management.
Hey, you can never have too much time in the AHL. Can never have enough development time. That's what I heard a lot.
That's the
today.
Jets. That's the Jets motto
Keep
right
going,
there, ladies
Bill.
and gentlemen.
You got this, man.
He'll be
It's fine.
ready when he's 22, when he can really step into a role, and then we'll get him going.
This is the Jets when they bring their guys in to interview them for a role. They're like, "You're good, kid, but are you a man yet?"
Yeah.
Do you have hair on your chest?
Like that's honestly what it
Nope.
feels like. It's
Hell
kind
out.
of ridiculous.
No.
No, Brad
What I was
Lambert just
gonna
there. That's
say-
why Billy looks so scared all the time when you know what I mean? He's like, "Oh, I'm
Yes.
not ready for this."
Pissed, scared all the time.
Fuck, I would be
That's
too,
why-
man. Every time he's like, if I play amazing and score a hat trick, I'm gonna get
That's
sent
why-
down.
That's why he never. That's why he's never on the Jets. They're just like real men don't get scared. Get back down to the Moose.
I just get
Get
this
outta
image.
here.
I just get this image of Billy absolutely pissing himself as he's editing this little meme of him as Bernie Sanders.
"This is how I'll
Like,
make
just
the
sitting
team."
He's sitting on the couch. He's like, I hope they get it. This will be good, right? They're gonna think it's funny.
Fun
They're not
fact
gonna-
about that video, Billy actually didn't make that. That was AJ
That
from
photo
JetsHub podcast. Yeah, unfortunately, I found that out a couple weeks ago.
But he still
That's
posts. He still
tragic.
took it though.
He posted it. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
no, that
buddy,
was-
he took that ball.
That's
and
all
ran
that
with it.
matters. That's
Mhm.
all that matters. He saw something that felt exactly how he felt, and it was a meme.
yeah.
And that's all that matters. He's a man of the people. He's a man of the
Identified
people.
with Bernie
Little
Sanders.
meme star. Love Billy. Shut
Me
up.
too.
Billy.
No, but the thing I was also gonna say, and I'm just saying this before we get too far away from that. So I'm curious to see though. I mean, Jake, how different would you say the Jets have looked in just the way they have played their game ever since Bonus?
Oh, night and day, in my opinion.
Night and day. So then that's why, you know, even though we do have a tough start to the start of the season, that's why I'm optimistic to see what's
Dude,
going to come of that.
I don't care.
I think we will do better than expected.
I'm so hyped for this season for one reason. Last year, having to watch these games with the expectations of being a real competitor again, because of how I really believed it. Like
because
a lot of
all
people.
Those off-season moves.
Really, we really made moves to look good. I bought into it a bit, and then to go through that entire season, having to talk about it all, watch every game, and go expand on every loss and the culture of this team. It brought me down a little bit. You know what? Like it did, and
it sucked.
Honestly,
terrible.
This season, I'm just excited for the fact that I can watch hockey, and if the Jets win or lose, even if they get blown out, I'll yell because it's fun too about hockey to yell when your team loses. But I don't give a shit this year.
Exactly.
If they are the worst team in the league, I will be flying to Winnipeg still in November for those games I'm coming into for, and I'd have a great time if they lost both of them. I don't care because there's no expectations. And
pray to God we get Connor
exactly. We got always something to root for.
Doesn't matter if we suck this year, we might get Connor.
This is finally the year where it's like I actually feel like whatever happens will be will set the course for the next like few years. You know, for the next real wave of this
team.
team.
You want to know something interesting about this season that I feel like not as many people are talking about, just because everyone's talking about Heinola and now, you know, Capobianco in and what we may see of that, and, you know, why is Stanley where he is. I feel like we're forgetting about a guy like Cole Perfetti, which we didn't even get to see that much of last year, but now we're gonna get a real season.
I was gonna get into Perfetti. I was gonna get into the offense a bit in the lines. Trust me. Trust me.
The full Perfetti experience.
I just wanted to focus on the defense because right now, it's like you have the defense, which then goes to management, which goes to trades, and then goes to everything else that happens through that. So
we're talking about that line and the guys that are above it, but we don't know why, and the guys that are below it, and we don't know why.
So
I do want to. I do want to just touch on Perfetti. I was going to talk about this with the preseason and everything, but aside from Lambert looking incredible, obviously, to start there, and then I'm assuming he'll play with the Moose. Don't know what's going to happen.
I saw him on Twitter in Moose gear today, so that's a good sign.
Yeah. He's top 6 in the Moose.
Yeah, he's just got to sign that ELC, so hopefully that gets done. But Perfetti's got like space alien vision, man. He might legitimately I don't know, if the plan is to still move Blake Wheeler down the line, maybe even this season, he might keep Blake's stock up pretty high. I think Perfetti's going to do a lot for that line, and if he's playing with a guy like Dubois that can make a ton of space for him, Perfetti's going to have a really good year. I'm really excited to see what he does.
Well, I'd love it if he can make both those guys look good to trade if that's the way it goes, especially Blake Wheeler.
Yeah, and Dubois too.
Exactly. You never know with Dubois. We have no
stock
idea.
Just to throw him away.
I still think Dubois goes.
That's how Jake likes it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know it.
Put Stanley on forward. Hell, we did it with Bull U.
There we go. That's a throwback.
God, I forgot that. Oh, what a day. What a day that was. That was the most chaotic day I've ever seen.
Tell me about it.
Watch the roster.
Okay, I want to ask you guys real quick about predictions for this upcoming season. I feel like we're all going to talk about them to an extent, probably in our own videos. I haven't talked about the preview yet. I know they have, but nonetheless, I want to know who your guys is MVP, most improved player, and then let's stick with that for now. Everything else is pretty basic. I was gonna say your goalie pick, but I don't think David Riddick's gonna be stealing a job anytime soon.
Excuse me. Only one goalie has a shutout right now, and it isn't Connor Hellebuyck.
Facts.
That is true.
Maybe he'll get the.
Also, he's 5 wins away from us getting a jersey, which is really concerning right now. Like, I didn't expect that. He would just immediately, the day after we recorded, dude just watched it and said, "Bet!" and then went out and got a 30-save shutout.
Wait, what are you talking about? Did you say something?
Remember, we fucking doubled down on David Riddick that we need to get a jersey and get him to sign it. Big Save Dave.
Oh,
if
God.
he gets 5 wins and 1 shutout. and the next
already has
fucking
the shutout.
day, he posts a 37 save shutout. Like, me and Jackson were texting each other while the game's
I
going.
don't
We're just
remember
like,
that bet.
He's gonna fucking do it. He's gonna fucking do it.
Well,
I can't believe he's gonna
you know
do
what?
it.
I'm gonna be there for a weekend in November. If by some reason he is there and he has it done by then, I will figure out a way to storm into the Iceplex, break into the change room, and get him to sign it. Big save, Dave. I will take the charge. Don't worry about it, boys. We will get that
Jake, is
jersey
that-
signed.
Well, we live here, so yeah, you kind of have to.
Yeah, the foreigner, right? The foreigner from out of province.
Yeah,
arrest
the
this
foreigner.
arrest this guy. Arrest this BCer. Throw him in jail. Take him to Stonewall.
But yeah, so predictions. What was it? What was the awards
Okay,
you gave?
who's gonna be the MVP of the Jet? Okay, who's gonna be the top points? Any predictions there? Because I don't know if it'll be Kyle Connor
Kyle
this year.
Connor.
I don't know.
Kyle Connor. He had
I'm-
8 points in 3 preseason games.
I'm still gonna go with Kyle
Nobody
Connor.
I
had
don't know.
close to that.
I'm
And
gonna
they
take.
played more games.
Well, do you want to hear my reasoning? My
I do at the
reasoning-
end, but I want to hear everyone's first.
Fair,
Like,
fair
dude's
enough.
gonna be unhinged.
I'm going with Nick Ehlers.
That's
I
who
think
my
Nick
pick
Ehlers
was
is-
too.
Nick Ehlers, 100-point season.
Yep, I honestly thinking it could happen or be in the range. Like, it sounds ridiculous, I know, but he's never gotten a full opportunity to be a top line guy. This is it for him.
He's also gonna be on the power play on the first power
Yep.
play unit for the first time in his career.
Good point.
And that
And
power
if-
play unit looks scary. Like, I
And if-
actually, like, that's one of the biggest takeaways. I think I didn't talk about it enough in the video that we made, but that power play looked lethal again.
Yeah.
And if you're
For-
looking
for
for
me-
the most, if you're looking for the most, what was it, improved player?
Yeah, most improved. Yep.
Yeah,
I was just gonna do the
it's
thing
got to
on
be
that.
Mark Scheifele because you can't get worse than last year with all that.
Oh,
And
man.
disappointing player, I'm just gonna throw this one in here too. Neil Pionk, disappointing season again.
God, man, took my ants.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pick for there. Okay, for me,
Carter.
I think
Okay.
for most improved, I'm going to go with. This is most. You know what? I'm gonna say Brendan Dillon. I feel like Brendan Dillon might be decent to start the year, and that might help the trade value. I'm just gonna be optimistic about that. Why not? He was terrible last year. He was so invisible in so many games. He really didn't contribute much.
Mhm.
So I'd love to see more of a presence from him at the start of the season. And then I'll say okay. What was the other one you said? Disappointing.
Disappointing, yeah.
Yeah, my pick for the most disappointing season player, will probably have to go to. I hate to say it, but I'm going to say Mason Appleton. I really like this guy, and I want him to take the
yes.
next step, but I just don't think so. I think we're going to really see another year of mediocrity, and
good
he's
pick.
probably going to play himself out of the lineup this year, potentially.
Very
Like-
good pick.
Zach, over to you. What are you, did you finish
I'll do.
with the
So
most
I
improved
picked.
and all
I
that?
picked MVP.
Yeah,
didn't
I know.
Pick anyone else.
Yeah.
So I'd say most improved's tough because the easy answer is just to go like rookie, and like that's more.
That's
like,
what I was going to
breakout.
say. I was going to say Perfetti.
Like you know what I
We
mean?
took
That's
the
more
easy
like
route.
that's more breakout. That's like a different award, honestly. I'd argue. Most improved
Breakout player, Kyle Capobianco.
Fuck yeah. Most improved. Let's see here. I'll say dark horse pick here. I'll say Dylan DeMello because
Son of a bitch, you stole my pick.
Dylan DeMello. I'm just gonna say this right now. If Dylan DeMello learns how to pass the puck properly, that guy is gonna get a lot more minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
You want to know
what-
something? I was gonna pick DeMello too, and I said he was gonna get 2
like,
goals.
well, everyone else picking forward.
2
so I feel
goals
like I
for
kinda
Dylan
have to.
DeMello. It's
Probably.
gonna happen.
Yeah, he's gonna get 2 goals, and that's gonna be the best. Disappointing.
We're all gonna lose our mind for that.
I don't want to say
Both
Appleton or
assisted by
Pionk,
Rick.
but those are 2 good ones because those are like already been picked. Disappointing.
I can think of a couple other players.
Yeah, there is, but like I don't like. But there's things like that I actually don't believe like disappointing. Oh,
I have a guy in the top
Christ.
6.
Well, I know the guy in the. Yeah, I'd say disappointing. Like what I don't want to see happen, but I'm scared will happen. Will be Pierre-Luc Dubois
Mm-hmm.
because Pierre-Luc Dubois has no excuse to.
That
be
actually
bad
wasn't
this
my
year.
pick in the top 6. I was going to say Blake Wheeler. This could be a really big downfall year for him
I'd
too.
argue that Blake Wheeler's low-hanging fruit. Like, Blake Wheeler has at least an excuse with his age and his lack of mobility in terms of his skill set. Pierre-Luc Dubois does not have that. Also, too,
a lot of us have been expecting Wheeler to kind of slide down the lineup anyway. So
that's true,
like still, also too, really Pierre-Luc Dubois, like we talk about some of the good aspects of him was that his ability to draw penalties, even when he was taking them. If that slides as well, he is going to be the most visual problem on the ice for the Winnipeg Jets because he's going to be in the box. Mm-hmm. The penalty kill that we are so intent on having to put Logan Stanley in will be out there like 8 times a night. And honestly, that's the one problem I had with the preseason. The amount of penalties that the Jets were taking look like a lot more than was necessary. That's the biggest.
It's preseason though; they do call everything.
They do, but that being said, like, but like that feels like a warning sign. Is all I'm gonna say. Like, it could be an outlier for the time period, but like, you don't want to give teams so many man advantages. Carter, who are your picks?
I agree.
For
I said DeMello, and I think I already gave my reason. For most disappointing. My pick was already taken. My pick was Appleton.
Great minds think alike.
Of course they do. I'm still gonna go with Appleton, even though it's
a good pick.
It is a good pick.
With everything that's been happening, and with some of the guys that the Jets have brought in to be a bit of a bigger presence on the bottom 6, and with more of a reinforced top 6 now that Perfetti hopefully doesn't get injured again, and he's gonna.
How dare you even say that, Carter? Knock on wood right now.
I said hopefully. My goodness,
doesn't matter.
I'm hoping good things.
Don't even put those words together.
For him, anyways. But now you're gonna have more guys sliding down there, and I just don't see. I don't know. I just don't see Appleton being able to play the role as he's played before the way he needs to. I don't know.
It's worth noting for Appleton. Appleton was the only guy that didn't really show up for a lot of the preseason games.
I felt that way too.
Like he was on injury reserve a lot for some of them. They didn't really pick him in a lot. Like I think Maynalainen played like 5 out of 6 games. Lowry they put in for like the last 4. It felt like. Gagne was there for pretty much like Gagne was only there for like the second half of the drought, but he did the most with his minutes to be like a utility player in that regard. Lowry looked fine. I didn't see Appleton at all. Fuck, even Tony Nato got a goal.
A great one.
And I honestly.
Tony Nato had a good preseason.
He had a really good preseason. And that's why Jansen Harkins didn't get a spot because he actually got outworked by ton of Nato outworked Jansen Harkins. That should say enough about Jansen Harkins.
Well, also too, like let's be honest here. Could anyone tell Mason Appleton and Jansen Harkins apart? The only thing that I could tell them apart was who they played with, and that's how I knew which one was which. I didn't see anything from either player whatsoever.
No, I agree.
Appleton
the only reason, please.
Sorry, no. Appleton had a really dull preseason, and he didn't. I don't know. He's same with Harkins, and Harkins got sent down because either they didn't think that that he was useful with Maynalainen and all these other guys in there that they have, and Tony Nato obviously playing fine. But Appleton, you can't do that because he just signed a panic deal with the 3 years that I think it's like 2.15, something like that for Appleton, and we're stuck with that for the next 3 years.
Yep.
And I'd be shocked if anybody's willing to take that on,
dude.
Even if it is a depth player. But
I
don't know.
I forgot about that. I was just thinking in my head. I'm like, you can waive Appleton. You can't.
No,
there are a cajillion Mason Appletons in the NHL, and Chevy went back at the trade deadline last year and was like, you know what? We're gonna send a 4th for him. When you can have a perfectly normal Mason Appleton grow with the Moose and probably play or sign one. You just signed Maynalainen, who played out of his mind in preseason, forced them to send Harkins down, and but now you've just paid that guy 2.1 for 3 years, and now you just got to lock down on that investment, just like you did with Schmidt, just like you did with Dylan. Now you're just doubling down on it, hoping you're trusting your vision, and sometimes you have to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah,
I don't think there's enough love
prospects like that.
I don't think there's enough love for Manitoba. Like, that dude had the preseason of his life without getting a single point, but you could tell
he could
his
be
presence
really
on the
good
ice.
this year. Like, I would
Like,
not be surprised if he was the most improved player potentially. Like,
also,
honestly.
too, let's talk. We talk about protector players. Who was the guy that immediately went after Zadorov when he laid out a knee on knee on on the
Was it our
player?
protector? Was it our protector?
Was
Logan
it our
Stanley?
protector, Logan Stanley?
No, it wasn't.
Sir. It was Saku Maenalanen, who going into camp, I did not realize the guy was that tall. Like, he's taller than you think he is. Like, whatever you think his height is, add at least 3 inches in height to that. And he's big and he's physical. He's the perfect type of checking guy that actually can force a guy off a puck when he checks them.
Also, another thing too, which people always seem to forget about in all sports, this is a guy that got a taste of the NHL, wasn't ready, lost it, and had to work 2 years in Europe just to get a potentially another look with another team. He is hungry and wants it. He's playing for his hockey career. Guys like Jansen Harkins, they don't have that mentality. You can see it by the you just tell by the way Harkins acts and the way he talks and like, even you guys ever watch those stupid like little like social, I don't know, they're like TikToks honestly that the Jets kind of make sometimes. The way Harkins is in all those is just so shitty. He doesn't even contribute half the time. He just looks at the camera and is like, the fuck out of my face, man. You're just
at least Tony Nato contributes.
What the fuck? Like exactly. You can tell which guys are happy to be on the team and which guys think they're entitled to be there. Yeah, that's a stupid thing.
Jets country, let's ride.
That was so bad. I hope that plays in a game when I'm there, man. That'd be amazing.
They played that. They played that.
And like 4 other ones from all the other players. Like Lowry was like,
do you want to know when they played that?
Country, and it's like, oh god.
Do you want to know when they fucking played that? They played that so right after the national anthems. You know, when they're doing like a little bit of a song intro. Yes, yes. There's like a bunch of kids going like people going like this, and like some Jets players going like this.
Relocate
and
the
like
team.
Jets country, let's ride.
God, no.
And like all of the players are just sitting on the bench, just looking up at it as there's this awkward moment, just waiting to drop the puck from commercial break for the first drop
Back
of the
to
puck.
Atlanta.
Oh my god, that's
Fire.
pure cringe. Pure cringe.
Yep. Oh god.
God.
This got depressing. Yeah, but going back to Jansen and Harkins, just really quick with Jansen Harkins. I hope Donnie and Todd Harkins aren't watching this video, or we might all have angry DMs on Twitter.
Hey.
That's where I'm
Oh my god.
What's his name?
I forgot
What's his name?
No, we're not gonna do it. I don't want to bring up a fire again.
I'll do it.
It's not worth it.
You're not part of it. I'll do it.
No, do not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. He hasn't done a stink this time.
Well, not yet.
About it.
Not yet.
I only got into it because he wanted to get into it with me, so.
That's why I'm so happy I'm small enough on Twitter. I say something, no one notices. It just goes away.
I just
you say
embrace
something,
it.
you get DM'd by the dad, and it's like, oh.
Oh no! I got DM'd by the uncle telling me that he has too much money in his ears to care about me. Well, he writes me a paragraph on why I'm an idiot for saying Harkins is a 4th liner.
How is that not fact?
Harkins is 25. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
He looks 29.
Dude, I remember when I was like I don't even remember what grade I was when Harkins was drafted. There was this big profile on him in the draft because he was playing up in BC, and I don't know, something about that. And everyone thought the Canucks might take him because they had a late round pick, and they didn't, and he became a 2nd round pick to the Jets. And I was like, oh, I remember this guy from the draft day. I was like, hey, there we go. That's my fucking introduction to him, and I don't give a shit about him. So, fuck him. There we go. Let's move on.
I have a
fuck them all.
Something I wanted to ask you guys about. Completely going a different direction from where we were before.
Yeah, attacking.
However, thoughts on Scheifele getting some penalty kill time this preseason?
Entertaining to say the least.
I want to know what you guys think of that.
Bambi. He looks like Bambi. He's trying his best, but he looks so out of his element, and I kind of love it.
I'd like
it's the
that
most humbling thing I've ever seen for Mark Scheifele. Him going around and standing around and going like... He's like, where are you going, Mark? Where are you going, Mark?
You know what?
It was fun.
That's you know what? I would like to see that a couple times a game potentially. You know, maybe for like 30 seconds. Give him time out there and show him the importance of learning a good back check and learning how to play some defense. You know, that's kind of like an old school way of doing it for stars like that. Throw them out in a situation where they might not succeed immediately.
He knows how to back check in some aspects.
Does he though, Carter? After the last couple seasons, can you say that, Carter?
Can
you? He did it once, but nobody liked it.
Because I was
a problem.
Like that's the funny thing.
Joke about the heavens hit. You're thinking too more into it.
I will not. But it's true though, right? Because it's funny.
Yeah, Adam Oates kind of, like, I don't know, Shifley was kind of like a sneaky, decent defensive guy earlier in his career, and then he went to go train with Adam Oates, and like all players that go train with Adam Oates, they forget how to play defense, so, I mean, you can attribute that and take that with a grain of salt all you want.
Adam Oates catching strays.
Adam Oates is terrible.
Alright, so it's no longer strays.
Sorry. Like,
direct shots fired. Go for it.
Go look at who Adam Oates is coaching, and just show me the list. And 80% of those guys don't try to play in the other half of the zones. But that's all that I have to say about Adam Oates.
That's a smoking gun
over there. Sorry to get off topic there, but
I know.
I like how Jackson's like the most.
Jackson's got a few smoking
Jackson's the calmest of all of us by far.
I know.
And he just sets off people.
Dude,
and he throws the most shade.
Like, he just sits there and he goes...
Sooner or later, we're just going to be like, oh, I just got a message from Mark Chipman. Yeah, he sent me a hate email.
Yeah, well, it's funny, because we'll be talking about something, and Jackson will be like, yeah, don't worry, guys, he's only...
Oh, man. How dare you criticize me? I met Mark
We're going to have our media pass, and Mark Shifley's going to look us dead in the eye and just look around us to the next question. Like, that's how it's going to be.
That's what I was joking with Zach about. I'm like, Zach, when we met Dubois, imagine if he just looked at us and be like, why'd you give me the mic award, Zach? Bro, why did you give it to me?
Dude, I'd be scared to meet Dubois because I've made some like thumbnails of him looking pretty demonic on YouTube because I did not like him. Same with Paul Maurice. Like I made Paul Maurice look pretty fucking evil, so like I really don't want to meet him. Like I got nothing but love for you, Paul. You know, I think you were a great guy for a while in Winnipeg and fizzled out, but doesn't matter, right?
You mean
nothing personal?
Devil horns? That one?
I did it to Chevy. I did it to Chevy too. I did it to Chevy too, a couple times, multiple occasions.
Oh
I think I did
it. Added Paul Maurice and just.
Oh yeah, let's move on from my misdoings at attempted making memes for thumbnails. It usually doesn't work, but sometimes it's great. And even when it doesn't work, it's still pretty funny.
Yours like a blurry like photo with like the red eyes, and it was just that was the whole thing.
Yeah. I've done a couple ones like that. You know, you gotta give the people some content, right? So fuck. I try. You know what though? It's all fun and games. It's all sports. It doesn't matter anyway. These guys are just like accountants, glorified accountants.
Until you get DM'd about it, then that's a bit much.
If a glorified accountant wants to DM me over hate speech, or not even hate speech, whatever the hell you call this, trashing you on YouTube because I don't like you, yeah, free speech, exactly, whatever. Go ahead. I
think. Sorry.
No, please. I got nothing else to say about it.
Please jump in, please.
People are gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, why are you attacking Stanley?" And it's not like we're sitting here attacking Stanley Harkins or whatever. But these are Stanley's been put in this position because he's to no fault of his own. He's just out there playing hockey, and he's getting put in this position and getting a lot more hate than he probably deserves. Even though I don't think he's a very good hockey player. But
facts.
Jansen Harkins, same thing.
It's facts, though, guys. What it comes down to is the fact that
I love the subtlety, my guy.
Okay,
love it. Absolutely love it.
To the people out there watching, do you not get mad at your coworkers or think your coworkers suck at your job sometimes? Because all these guys are coworkers to the Jets. Like, there's employees. They play hockey, and if you're bad at your job, you get moved on. That's how it is in life. It's the same thing for these multi-million-dollar athletes. That's all it is. It's just me looking at a guy that I get to watch publicly do his job, and I can make fun of him when he fucks up.
If you take Logan Stanley's contracts and put them together, he has made
a lot more than
$5.21 million.
Exactly.
He has made 5.2 million times what I've made in my life. Pretty much is what I'm hearing from that.
Exactly.
So right? we can make fun of him.
We sit here, right?
There's accountability.
These guys are millionaires. I don't think they're sitting online Maybe their families are, but I don't think they're sitting online looking at
Jackson, if you could rip
whatever.
into me the way you ripped into Stanley and I made $5.2 million, I would be A-okay with it.
Oh my god.
I don't think they care. I don't think they care about us. But that's what else are we gonna talk about? Are we gonna talk about how much fun the off season was? Because of what?
Woo, yeah. Kyle Capobianco, guys, I'm telling you. Get
If you
ready
would
for a
ask me-
Norris nomination. It's gonna happen.
Honestly, though, you're not even totally far off because I'm gonna be like, for example, Tuukka Rask got a Vezina nomination last year. Like, someone could do that and throw in Kyle Capobianco just once, like the 5th place vote. Like, I would.
Why not,
I'd do
right?
that.
Let's
Like,
start a
just-
sports blog, and then we'll get the media.
Then again, we're
journalists
also
to
talking
do
about-
this thing.
It's like
I like how
it-
you're saying
shows.
you're gonna do
And they'll
that,
take it
but
away
then
from
it's
us like
very
that.
possible that all
It's
4
like,
of us
who's
might
their
end up with
selection?
David Riddick
Yeah,
jerseys.
let's just take that pass back.
It's
We're not
like how you can, like, on
associating.
TV shows, you could say it's like an Emmy-nominated TV show when it won nothing. And you can just say, like, Norris-nominated...
I feel like they just
Kyle
have New York Times
Capobianco.
bestseller on every book that's ever existed. I feel like that's everywhere.
Man, what a podcast. As always.
This has been,
Mm-mm.
this has been,
This has been a
something.
funny one.
Oh, yeah.
This has been quite an interesting one.
Where do you guys think the Jets finished? Did they make the playoffs this year or no?
I'm going to say
they're-
they make the wild card. I think they're going to be in the
Wild
hunt
card?
for that. And I'm just going to say yes because I want them to. I don't know. It's 50-50. I think they're going to be in the race, though.
I got their range. My range for the Jets ranges
Jake
from
read my mind.
third in
Great
the
man,
third in
like
the
Jake.
Central. If everything goes perfect and a couple teams collapse, which, to be fair, every year there's always a team that collapses, to 2 spots out of the playoffs. That's their range, I think. Like, I don't think they're gonna get worse than that, and I don't think they're gonna get better than that under any circumstances. So I'd say my best guess would be first wild card spot.
First wild card. Wow, okay.
Theoretical idea here. So I remember Jake earlier. You're talking about the possibility of the Jets completely just sucking at the start with our schedule, and kind of blowing it up a little bit with some guys
dear.
like Dylan being gone and guys like
Stanley.
I don't see any big
Dylan and
trades
Stanley
coming,
to-
like a PLD or Shifley or
No, but
Wheeler. I'm
blowing
just
up a
saying,
little
like,
bit of deep into
making
that.
room, shuffling up the cards you already have
Exactly.
type thing.
So here's the question: if that happens, imagine if the Jets just like Villy comes in and like, you know,
Does
Jesus
Villy
is
things.
Second coming, the Jets pull
He
a
will
St.
lead us
Louis,
there.
St. Louis Blues out of our ass. We get going. Big save.
You're a
Dave,
very, very
and
hopeful
jump
guy.
up the year.
You are.
I could never have that
He's more
optimism.
hopeful. He just,
I'm.
He predicted a
We are in
collapse and an
fantasy
ascent.
world right now.
that's more than hope. That's like strategical cynicalism. Like, that's
Strategical. You are something else, man. I swear to God.
Yeah, I kind of see. I don't know. I have some hope in them. We'll see how everyone adapts to the systems. Who plays well, who doesn't, obviously. But I'm seeing 4th to 5th in the Central. Maybe they sneak in the final wild card. I think it's going to be down to the wire, but I do think it's going to be close.
See,
So I'm gonna lean to no playoffs.
That's
this year.
that. You know what? I think that's a very real possibility. Like I said, I'm 50-50, so I completely agree with what you're saying. I think that could easily be the outcome of the year. But for once, I don't know why I have some optimism, which is really weird because you all know that I am the most cynical motherfucker that talks about the Jets I think anywhere on this planet. So yeah, for once I'm happy. I don't know why. I guess I shouldn't question that.
that's a good spot.
I want to know your guys' thoughts on this before we decide to end it. This was posted on Instagram, I think, just by NHL Breakers. I'm not sure exactly who did this poll via The Athletic, where 10,000 hockey fans in the total voted. Most hopeful fan bases. The Jets were ranked 29th. Just for context, the Arizona Coyotes were 28th, and then the Sharks, Blackhawks, and Flyers were underneath us.
Oh,
You know
God.
what?
We
You
are
know what?
apparently more hopeless than the Arizona Coyotes, who may not.
Well,
have a
they can
team
only
this
go
year.
up.
They only think that because it's Winnipeg. It's just they're like, oh,
Can
it's
they?
Winnipeg.
They
Yeah,
might
exactly.
go down to
I
Houston.
want to know when this data
They
was
might go down
collected.
to Houston.
Was this before or after we signed Kyle Capobianco as our blockbuster move? If
This
free
was
agency? If
posted
it was like,
5 days ago.
if it was a day, yeah, no, that's when it's posted, yeah, but like it's not like they collect the data and then immediately get home.
I know. I'm just saying that's when it was posted. I'm just saying it's probably in relative decent time with that.
Oh, for sure. I definitely.
29. Really? I don't know about that.
Say it's low, but like also too, I think as well, there's a lot of people in Winnipeg. Like we talk about like people being disillusioned and people being a little bit of a, shall we say, like a little out of tempo and a little out of touch. But like Winnipeg has an awareness to their city, to like their limitations, which I do appreciate. Like the vast majority of people in Winnipeg have like an awareness that their team isn't like as good as other teams, which is more than you can say for like at least 40% of the league, I'd say, which is like generally, like I genuinely appreciate that about this city. Like when something bad happens, we recognize that something bad happens. It's the same reason why it gets real quiet when the Jets are losing, because we don't blindly go, yay! Go team! And it's like 7-1. And no, you shut up. You say nothing. Like, I just say there's an awareness there. It's not blind optimism.
Yeah, for sure. But that's because Winnipeg's a really, connected hockey town. When you think about the fan base, you can say how divided it is you want about what people think hockey is and how it should be played. But it's a lot of people, the Jets fans, they know hockey. So I feel like that's partially the reason why, if they see a mediocre game, they're not going to praise it because it was a mediocre game. They won it, they lost it, doesn't matter. Like they know hockey. I've always felt that way about the Jets, even the Moose, back in the day and everything like that with how they were.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's just one man's opinion. I can't wait for Friday just to see what happens. I don't even care, like, I win or lose. I'm just curious to see how this team's gonna play against the Rangers.
If they can force it to overtime, that's already a step.
It's kind of a great game to play for your home opener. It's a great test. One of the top teams in the East. You're not gonna play a lot. Like, get them out of the way.
Rangers just beat Tampa. Like earlier tonight, they just beat the defending Eastern Conference champions. So this is definitely a good test.
You want a hot take? Here, just before we wrap this up?
Absolutely.
Tampa's a wild card team this year.
I agree.
What?
I agree.
Tampa's a wild card team.
Dude, how you
Who's
fucking
a wild card
Jesus,
team?
Tampa.
Tampa Bay is a wild card.
I think they could fall off this year.
You mean after signing their 3 8-year contract?
You betcha.
God. Imagine something like that happened in Winnipeg. Could never happen. Like
that
3
many
people signing identical $8 million contracts and being like, this is where I'm living forever. Never. Never could happen.
Why not?
You know why, Jake.
Of course
you know
I do.
Why.
Of course I do.
You know why. Don't make me say it. You know why.
But it's nice to remind
But
you.
yeah.
That's gonna do it, I think, for tonight's episode, guys.
I think so. Yeah.
A lot.
Good talk.
We covered a lot. From like the expected to the unexpected to everything.
The way it usually is. The way it usually is.
But yeah. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you being here. Don't forget to check out all of our individual channels down below in the description.
We appreciate that, guys. We
have a Discord as well too.
That's
you
good.
can check that one out if you ever want to reach us. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
All right, yeah. Bye, everyone. Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, yeah.